What if the greatest lesson in golf history wasn't taught with words at all? What if it was taught in silence on a Sunday afternoon by a man who had already lost the tournament? Because that's exactly what happened in November 2020, at a Masters unlike any other, played without a single fan in the stands, in the middle of a pandemic that had turned the world upside down. And on that quiet, eerie golf course, a rookie named Scottie Scheffler was about to be paired with the most dangerous competitor the sport had ever seen, and he had no idea it would change the entire trajectory of his career. Picture it. Scheffler, just 24 years old, playing in his very first Masters, walking beside Tiger Woods, the defending champion, a man who had already won this tournament 4 times, a legend whose knees and back had been rebuilt more times than anyone could count. Neither of them was in contention. The leaderboard didn't care about this pairing. By every logical measure, this was a meaningless final round for both men, so why would Tiger Woods play like his life depended on it? That's the question that haunts this story. Because on the par 3 12th hole, in Amen Corner, the most feared stretch of holes in golf, something happened that should have broken any competitor's spirit. Tiger Woods carded a 10, on one hole, at the Masters. The kind of number that ends careers in commentary booths, the kind of number that makes grown men want to pick up their ball and walk to the clubhouse in shame. And what did Tiger Woods do next? Did he coast? Did he mentally check out for the rest of the round, the way almost anyone else would have? No. He birdied 5 of the last 6 holes. 5 out of 6. After a 10. With absolutely nothing on the line except his own standard for himself. And walking right beside him, watching every single shot, was Scottie Scheffler. And it wrecked him, in the best possible way. Scheffler has since admitted that this one round didn't just impress him, it rewired the way he thinks about every tournament he plays. He watched a 4-time Masters champion attack a golf course as if it were the last round he would ever play, and he couldn't stop asking himself, what's this guy still fighting for? He's already won this thing. His best finish that week was going to be somewhere around 20th place. There was no trophy, no check that mattered, no ranking points worth chasing that hard, and yet Tiger Woods refused to give away a single shot. That intensity, Scheffler later said, was the biggest thing he took from playing with Tiger. Not a swing tip, not a strategy for Augusta's greens, but a mentality. If you're going to show up, you give it everything, every single time, or you might as well stay home. Think about how rare that is. How many of us, after failing badly at something, a 10 on the 12th hole of our own lives, would find it in ourselves to birdie 5 of the next 6? Most people spiral. Most people protect their ego by mentally checking out the second things go wrong. Tiger Woods did the opposite, and a future world number 1 was standing close enough to feel it. And here's where the story gets even more interesting, because this wasn't a one-time spark that faded. This lesson followed Scheffler for years, and it shows up in the numbers in a way that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. Since that pandemic Masters, Scheffler has gone on one of the most relentless runs the sport has ever witnessed. He's captured 4 major championships, including multiple green jackets at the very course where Tiger taught him that lesson. He's spent well over 150 weeks, closing in on 200, sitting at world number 1, a stretch of dominance so long that entire seasons on tour have passed with almost no real threat to his throne. In 2025 alone, he won 2 majors, took home 6 official PGA Tour titles, and somehow led the entire tour in 28 different statistical categories in a single season, a level of across-the-board dominance that most analysts simply don't have the language for. He's now standing shoulder to shoulder with names like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods himself in the record books, one of the only players in history to reach 3 majors and 15 tour victories before turning 29. And if you go back and watch the interviews, the pattern never changes. Every time reporters ask him about chasing greatness, about closing the gap on the legends, Scheffler deflects, almost instinctively, the exact same way Tiger did after that 10 on the 12th. He says he's not thinking about comparisons. He says he's just trying to prepare and control what's in front of him. It's the same quiet, obsessive intensity, just wearing a different scorecard. But here's the twist most highlight reels leave out, because this wasn't just a lesson about fire and intensity. It kept evolving years later into something far more human. Fast forward to 2024, and the two men were brought together again. This time not on a leaderboard, but on a golf clinic set up by TaylorMade, where Tiger personally walked Scheffler and fellow pro Tommy Fleetwood through how to hit a tricky fairway wood out of a bad lie in the rough. A masterclass moment that fans online called one of the golf lessons of the year, proof that even the best player in the world still leans in when Tiger starts talking. But the mentorship didn't stop at swing mechanics. Later that same year, right before the PGA Championship, Scheffler became a father for the first time, welcoming his son Bennett into the world, and reporters asked Tiger Woods, a father himself, what advice he had for the new dad. Tiger's answer wasn't about golf at all. He told Scheffler to get some sleep, to hold on to a stable family life, because, in Tiger's words, having a great life at home is part of having a great life out on tour. It's a strange, quiet moment when you think about it. The most ruthless competitor in golf history, a man defined by his obsession with winning, pausing to tell the world's best player that the most important thing waiting for him wasn't another trophy, it was his son. So which lesson actually built the champion we see today? The fire from that 2020 round, or the perspective from that 2024 conversation? Maybe it's not one or the other. Maybe that's the real secret nobody talks about. Scottie Scheffler didn't just inherit Tiger's intensity, he inherited the balance behind it, the ability to give absolutely everything on the course while still knowing what actually matters off of it. And look at where that's taken him, a runaway leader in the world rankings, chasing history in a way even Tiger himself never quite managed, with people now openly whispering the one comparison Scheffler always tries to avoid. Is he the next Tiger Woods? Scheffler always deflects that question, always says he's just trying to prepare and do the things in front of him, but maybe that humility is exactly the point. Maybe that's the final lesson Tiger taught him without ever saying it directly. Greatness isn't about chasing comparisons. It's about what you do after you card a 10. It's about whether you let one disaster define your entire round, or whether you turn around, forget it ever happened, and go birdie the next 5 holes like nothing touched you. And if you want proof that this wasn't just a nice story Scheffler tells in press conferences, look at how he actually plays under pressure now, because the intensity he borrowed from Tiger shows up in the exact moments where most golfers fold. Think about a Sunday when a player is 4 shots behind with only a handful of holes left. The safe human thing to do is protect your position, play conservative, accept the finish you're probably going to get. That is not how Scheffler plays. He has clawed back 4-shot deficits late in tournaments, chipping in on the 71st hole of a championship to seize the lead when logic said the trophy was already gone, the same stubborn refusal to accept a bad number that Tiger showed him on that par 3 12th all those years ago. And it isn't a one-time fluke either. It's a pattern that repeats year after year, tournament after tournament, which is exactly what separates a great story from an actual identity. Anyone can get inspired for a week. Very few people turn that inspiration into a permanent operating system. That's the part of this story that should genuinely unsettle you if you're someone chasing your own version of greatness, whether that's in business, in sports, in school, or just in your own personal life. Because the lesson was never really about golf. It was about what you do the moment things go wrong in front of everyone watching. Do you let the 10 define the round, or do you make the next 5 holes so undeniable that nobody even remembers the 10? Scheffler had his answer handed to him by the greatest to ever do it, on a golf course with no fans, no pressure, and nothing on the line. And he still chose to pay attention. That's the detail people skip past too fast. Nobody made him care. Nobody made him study Tiger's face after that 10. He simply refused to look away, and that one decision, to actually absorb the lesson in front of him instead of shrugging it off as just a bad hole for Tiger, is arguably the most important shot of Scottie Scheffler's entire career, and he didn't even have to swing a club to take it. So here's the real question I want you to sit with. If the greatest player of this generation needed just one round, 18 holes, to change the entire way he approached his career, what is the 10 on the 12th hole moment in your own life right now, and are you responding to it like Tiger Woods, or are you letting it end your round early? Are you the guy who 3-putts and mentally checks out for the rest of the day, or are you the guy who turns disaster into 5 straight birdies when literally nobody would blame you for giving up? That's the difference between good and legendary, And it's a difference you get to choose every single day, not just on a golf course. Drop your answer in the comments because I read every single one of them, and I want to know what your 12th hole was. And if this story hit you the way it hit me, do 3 things right now before you scroll away. Smash that like button so this reaches more people who need to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the moments that actually shape the legends we watch every single week, and turn on notifications. Breaking down the exact round that made Tiger Woods who he was in the first place. The round before all the other rounds. And trust me, once you see where his intensity actually came from, you'll understand exactly why Scottie Scheffler was never the same after 18 holes with him.